On this week's episode, we pit a man who can talk to the animals against a gaggle of Gotham game birds.
Come on then, kids. Come on then. You've just entered the Davis Locker.
Welcome to the Davis Locker and thank you for joining us for this week's Trader Top Trumps. I'm your host Chris Davis and with me as always, my main man, Gazza D.
Howdy, partner.
What's happening this week, brother?
We've got a fantastic matchup this week. We have Birds of Prey versus Chris Davis. I mean, Dolittle.
Wow. You cut me to the quick. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do it now. Press the button, get on the little notification bell icon, click that and it'll go ding. It'll send you every time we do an update, won't it?
We will.
Let's give you some of our content. Get on it, please. If you're also on social media, go on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We are at the Davis Locker.
That's correct.
Do you know what else you can do now?
Tell me.
You can listen to us. If you don't like our visages, that's French for face that. If you don't like our visages, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Google Podcasts.
Unbelievable. I mean, we do recommend that you watch the videos on YouTube because I think they are a bit funnier. But
Yeah,
like you say, if you're bored of this, get straight on audio.
Funny is a matter of opinion, isn't it? But anyway, let's crack on with the show, shall we?
Without further ado, let's get on with this.
Right, so the first category we're going to take a look at, as always, is the plot and the director. Tell me about it, stud.
Okay, so Birds of Prey. Ooh. So after splitting up with the Joker, Harley Quinn has not got that security in the criminal underworld, and she soon finds out there are a lot of people gunning for her head. So what she has to do is get a gaggle of geese, her Gotham City sirens, her Birds of Prey. I'm talking about Black Canary, I'm talking about the Huntress and Rennie Montoya to try and take this guy down. Run VT.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
And what terrible crime is that?
This one. Ah, shit, I told this all wrong. Quick history lesson. This all started when the Joker and I broke up. It was completely mutual. And soon enough, I was back on my feet, ready to embrace the fierce goddess within.
It's oh so quiet.
Now that I cut ties with Mr. J, I'm about to learn that a lot of people want me dead.
All alone.
And at the top of that list is this guy.
And so peaceful.
But it turns out I wasn't the only dame in Gotham looking for emancipation.
You fall in love.
He's after all of us. We can't just robbed him. You betrayed him. You killed his BFF.
What?
You are so cool.
You never.
And you're dumb enough to be building a case against him. So, unless we all want to die very unpleasant deaths, we're gonna have to work together.
Sure.
Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready?
You blow up fuse. Devil cuts loose. So what's the use? Woo!
Turn it up!
Sky kicks in. Devil cuts loose. Blow your fuse. When you fall in love.
Oh shit, is that a hyena in a bathtub?
I named him Bruce after that hunky Wayne guy.
A visual feast for the eyes. What do you think?
I didn't like Suicide Squad.
Not many people did.
No, that's why they're redoing it.
Yeah.
I'm just not bothered.
No.
I mean, it looks all right. It looks good, doesn't it? But everything looks good, like we always say. I mean, it's colourful, it's vibrant, you know. The character of Harley Quinn is quite cool, I think. I like the way Margot Robbie plays her, I must say. I do think, I like the snappy dialogue and all that kind of thing. It's almost like a Tarantino superhero film, isn't it, really? It kind of reads like that for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all right. It looks all right.
Yeah, it's so the director is Kathy Yan. She's not done that much really in terms of directing duties, especially on the big screen. I think he's done a smallish budget film which is called Dead Pigs, which has got a lot of good reviews across the board. Really, won a lot of international awards.
She wrote that as well, didn't she?
Exactly, yeah. And I think they've kind of gone, right, well, this is an up and coming female director. Let's chuck her in. I mean, how she'll kind of handle the $100 million budget that they've got for that, well, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's one of those where don't take it too seriously. It's not going to be the Dark Knight type of world. It's fun. Let's roll with it. Come on, man.
And it's more girl power in it.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is the flavour right now.
Yeah.
And more female directors, which we always love. So, yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'd be lying if I said I'm on the edge of my seat thinking, I can't wait for this to be in the cinema. I'm going to queue up the day before. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I mean, we try and stay away from kind of reviews when we're putting this together.
Yeah.
But I can't help but see across the board, generally, it's been positive. So I'm looking forward to it. But as a score, I'm just giving it a 7. Just a 7.
I wish I could say the same about Dolittle.
Oh, dear.
But I can't.
Oh, dear.
Right, the story of Dr. Dolittle, we've all kind of heard it before. He's a physician who discovers that he can talk to the animals. Anyway, he gets sent on an epic quest by Queen Victoria because she needs him to find a cure for her illness.
Oh dear.
Let's run VT.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself,
are you Dr. Dolittle?
We've no choice but to embark on this perilous journey.
Everyone pack your bags!
I'm unavailable.
You can talk to animals.
Yes.
babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I
It's okay to be scared.
know. I think to myself,
Hello, Patty. Hello, lunch.
This is very bad.
what a wonderful world.
Somehow, we just belong together.
I'm coming, Doc!
Yes, I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world.
Nobody told me there'd be a dragon!
I'm too beautiful to die.
So there you go. Dolittle, the trailer.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Mixed reviews from me. And the problem I have is we kind of look at it quite subjectively from our viewpoint, but you've got to remember, this ain't made for us, is it? It's made for kids.
It's
Our
not.
kids going to like this. I think they will.
It's not. So, you're right. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure they will, but I'll get to that. So basically, it's the story of Dr. Dolittle, the story from Hugh Lofting, and this is the 100th anniversary of the novel, as far as I'm aware. It's been done a few times, as we've seen. You know, there was a Dr. Dolittle film in 1967 starring Rex Harrison. There's Eddie Murphy's done Dolittle in 1998, plus the sequel, plus about 8,000 spin-offs.
I know it was one of those where it was successful, and it was at the time where he was doing that kind of thing, and he was known, and a lot of people like, it was like Nutty Professor, Norbit, he voiced the donkey of Shrek, so he was almost at the height of his powers in terms of that kind of
very
genre.
much so. And that's what the film is celebrated for, is mostly for Murphy's performance.
Yeah.
You know, he's a legend, isn't he? You know, let's be honest, and he's having a resurgence now, as we've seen with Dolomite Is My Name, etc., etc. So, like I say, it's been done before. I think this is the main sticking point for me. It's a bit old hat, isn't it? Like, are we fed up of the talking animal thing now?
A little bit. And I know what they're trying to do, aren't they? Just take it, because he was down to earth, wasn't it? The Eddie Murphy one, but they're going, right, let's send him off on an epic quest. Let's try and make it look awesome, and we'll have these talking animals. Yeah.
I mean, we've got another lead star in this one, Robert Downey Jr., obviously fresh off the success of the Avengers films, Endgame being his sort of swan song, if you will. And a lot of people saying he should have won awards for that. But they're relying on the pulling power of RDJ for this one, for me, a bit too much. And like I say, I'm a bit fed up with the talking animals thing. We've had, like I say, numerous Dolittle variations. We've had things like Zookeeper with Kevin James, Furry Vengeance with Brendan Fraser, and films like Babe, which was a good one, which I like, Babe. But I think I'm a bit fed up of it. So
I know what you mean.
Director on it is Stephen Gagan. Now, a very, very interesting choice for me, because this is not his kettle of fish, not his cup of tea. It's not his thing at all. He's done things like Syriana with Clooney and Damon. Gold with Matthew McConaughey. And these are kind of, you know, gritty dramas. They're not...
Won an Oscar for Traffic.
He did, for writing the screenplay. Steven Soderbergh's Traffic in 2001, I think that was. So, I mean, he's got clout. But I don't think this is for him. And you know what? It seems that it wasn't, because this was rife with production issues, this film. And I'll get into that a bit later when we talk about the kind of cinematography and VFX side of things. But it didn't go well for him in a lot of ways, and didn't go well for a lot of the crew, apparently. But anyway, all that being said, it looks all right. The story's good, but it was good the first 150 times. Come on, wasn't it? You know. So in terms of a score, I'm only going to give it a 6.
Oof. Okay.
Old hat.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
Okay, so now we're talking about the poster and the promotional material. What you got for me?
I'm well annoyed.
Oh dear.
It's rubbish. Honestly, right, let me tell you about this poster. Okay, let me start off with this poster. Now, bear in mind, this film has got a $175 million budget.
Wowzers.
And this poster, it looks like they got some kid to knock it up in clip art, like after school. It's rubbish.
Right.
It's Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Dolittle, surrounded by a load of CG animals. It's an ensemble piece, as we call it. Surrounded by a load of happy-looking animals. I'm all for animals being happy, of course. I'm an animal owner. Love cats.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm really annoyed by it.
It's crap.
It's crap. Universal, it's crap.
Do you know what? I know where you're coming from. But in some respects, I think the poster, in terms of the CG animals, is better than the cinematography CG animals.
I'll get onto that.
Okay, flip it.
But no, right. Let's look at it objectively. Right, let's look at it properly. And so we always talk about eye travel, don't we, and whatnot. So first, like I said, first off, your eyes drawn straight to Robert Downey Jr. They're playing on his star power, which he's got massive star power. You know, he's in the 2 biggest grossing films of all time. He's arguably one of the leads. Well, he's not arguably, he is one of the leads. And cool, you know, great. That's fantastic. Wonderful. Kids love him, but they love him as Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, just he's got the pull, just as Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Dolittle. I'm not sure that the pull is there.
Okay.
Because the kids know him as Tony Stark, or do they know him as Iron Man?
Yeah.
They know him in a suit, don't they?
They do.
You know? I don't know. It really annoyed me. I think it's so poor, and it's so badly photoshopped.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You can see it. I mean, you can see that it's just like clumped together with all the different elements. I mean, I know the animals aren't there, so they can't just all pose for a picture. But
what was it? Scheduling conflict.
Yeah, the ostrich was doing some stuff with emu and all that.
Yeah, awkward. I've heard that ostrich.
Oh,
Awkward.
nightmare! Never work with kids and animals. But yeah, like I say, it annoys. It's annoyed me. It's the budget's massive. They've got one of the biggest stars on the planet right now.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. And that's what they come up with. I mean, it's just.
Yeah,
Like
I didn't even think it was that colourful neither for a kids' film. And I know they've gone, oh, we'll get a gorilla in because that's cool. We'll get this and that, but they're all kind of dark colours. Even the parrot, red. Why is it not a red parrot? Bonkers. And like the little hat that the polar bear's got on, that's like washed out.
Seen it all before, haven't we? It's a nightmare. And then you got the tagline underneath. He's not a people person, which I get the joke. It means he talks to the animals and stuff, right? The target audience, I don't think they're going to get the joke. It's like, he's not a people person. What is he then? He's a miserable bastard, is
Yeah.
he? What is he?
Incidentally, I think that's probably the tagline for your biopic.
Well, you know, it just annoys me. Like, there's so many people out there, like designers and stuff, who'd love a go at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They'd love a crack at this poster. If you're a designer, do a design for this poster. Do a design for Dolittle and send it in to us.
Yeah,
send it in to us so we can have a look at it. Because I reckon that 99% of you could do something better. I really, really do. So,
any good points to it?
Oh, right. As you go down, they made a bit of effort with the Dolittle logo. You've got Dolittle in a sort of nice gold-looking font. You know, this sort of got like what's the word? Like an extruded look to it, and a bit of a serif and all that kind of thing. And the animals are in the middle of the O, like, you know, as if they're on some sort of odyssey on a walk. Ooh, big deal. You know what I mean? Wow. Dolittle, too late.
Ooh.
Do you like that?
I like it.
Dolittle, too late, but not bothered. Rubbish. The poster's rubbish. Now, my bile for the poster aside, there was, in terms of marketing stuff, they released some funny stuff. They released some like audition outtakes of the animals, like a video, which is quite funny. As much as I'm over the talking animal thing, the audition tape thing is quite funny, and the website's quite cool. For the film itself, you can sort of go on it and scroll through a kind of you know, sort of a panoramic view of Dolittle's house or whatever it is. So find out a bit more about the animals. But whatever. Score wise, 3.
Wow.
Rubbish. Yeah, rubbish.
Okay.
Annoyingly rubbish. So whatever. 3. Twa. I did that then.
Did you? I was going to say I couldn't see it from my angle.
I wouldn't do that to the kids. But yeah, 3. Move it on.
Right. Okay. Well. So my poster is not that much better. It's better than a 3, but I mean, they're obviously cashing in on Harley Quinn, the character itself, and there's been a lot of promotional materials that they've released in terms of posters. I've seen about a dozen different ones.
Yeah, there's loads.
But we're going with this one, and it was the one I think that was first released. So it's obviously Harley Quinn's beautifully formed head.
Every time we have to do this. Every time we have to do this. We get it. You like her. You like Margot Robbie. We get it. We get it. She's good, is it?
Yeah.
She is good. She is good. She's very good.
So she's got the trademark pink and blue pigtails, which have been slightly chopped down. So all the cosplayers are going to have to change their hairdos.
Can I stop you there? What do you think of this whole Jim Carrey furore with Margot?
Yeah, it was a bit odd, wasn't it?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's the fuss? Tell me what's happening.
On the Graham Norton show.
It was very odd.
I thought it was a bit of a joke.
I think it was a bit of a joke, but kind of... Maybe it is. I mean...
It was ill-placed, though.
Yeah, it was.
That's the thing. He was clearly joking, but it's like...
Just
you think a comedian would know better than
down with a lead balloon, didn't it? And there's, everyone's not happy about it. But he's a bit of a strange chap anyway, isn't he? Yeah. Especially recently, he's gone a bit off the rails. But
anyway,
beautiful.
So yeah, going back to the post, I mean, there's not much more to it. We got the other characters kind of flying around Harley Quinn's head. Now, I didn't know if this was kind of a skewed vision about how she sees the world, or is it just that classic on cartoons where someone gets bonked on the head and the birds are just kind of going around?
Because when I first looked at it, I thought, is there some sort of religious connotation here? And I thought, I'm clearly reaching way too much. This is Acme, bonk.
Yeah. But apart from that, I mean, it's super colourful. The Birds of Prey kind of logo has got some little design elements in it, so some of the letters make up like bows and arrows. There's the baseball bat and mallet that the character's synonymous with.
Yeah.
And there's some knuckle dusters in there, I think. So they've had a little bit of design put to it.
At least there's been some effort.
Yeah.
At least there's some effort.
Yeah, I'm not going over the top though. I mean,
Yeah.
someone's head and...
Yeah.
So, there you go. For a score, I'm going for a 6.
High.
Double yours, isn't it?
Yeah. High. High.
It's a 6. It's locked in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next category?
Yeah, let's do it. What we got?
The next category we're going to look at is the cast and the characters. Okay, so this category is the cast and the characters, where we're going to take a look at the acting talent on display and the characters that they play.
That's it.
Gazadee, tell me more about Birds o' Prey. That
So-
all rhymed.
I like it. You're a poet and you don't know it.
There you go.
So, obviously, we have Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
My score's 10. What have you got for me?
Your infatuation with Margot aside, she is good, isn't she?
Well, she reminds me a little bit of you in some respects, in that her good acting ability is kind of masked by how good looking she is. I mean, she's kind of known for...
Shantae.
Yeah. She's obviously known a lot for getting a kit off in Wolf of Wall Street and playing Harley Quinn, and that's kind of masked.
I'm not known for that yet.
Yet.
Although
We'll get a parody going soon.
I'll do that, innit? Go on, sorry.
But, I mean, it's kind of forgotten that she's got 2 Oscar nominations. One for I, Tonya, which is an excellent biopic, and also Bombshell, which is out now, and apparently she's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
She does quite a lot of range in
has,
herself.
she really has.
Mary Queen of Scots as well. She was in.
She was good in that.
And obviously Harley Quinn is such a prominent character in this Batman world.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Batman and the Joker, she's kind of almost like the second tier of these people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people like
I'd say so.
Penguin and Riddler, but other than that, she's...
I think she's overtaken them until
Yeah.
Matt Reeves, the Batman, comes and we get another Penguin played by Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of... You've got Batman, the Joker, then her,
Yeah.
really, in terms of that world.
I think so. So obviously, big actress, big character in that.
Yeah.
We've also got Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays the Huntress, and I think she's quite an interesting actress as well, being in stuff like Fargo on TV and 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I think is quite underrated in.
Yeah, it is.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I mean, they kind of spoilt that thing with the space one, which is awful. You've also got Journey Smollett-Bell, who plays Black Canary, and Rosie Perez, who I know you like.
I love Rosie Perez. I think she's good, but she always plays characters that annoy me. But that's why I think she's a good actress, because she somehow manages to annoy me. She's I love doing White Men Can't Jump.
Really good.
Where she's like, I'm thirsty. Oh, whatever she says. It's a really good film. And I mentioned it, I think, on what was it on? Was it on the 2020 Vision? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
When we were talking a little bit about this film, I was saying about when she's in It Could Happen to You, the rom-com with Nick Cage and Bridget Fonda, and she's just horrible in it.
Yeah.
But she's really good at doing that kind of character. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Rosie Perez. Yeah.
She got an Oscar nod as well. Didn't win, unfortunately, for Fearless. So I think she just adds a little bit of gravitas to that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the main villain is played by Ewan McGregor, which is Roman Sonis.
Hello there. You're supposed to go, General Kenobi.
I know, but I didn't want to fall into your trap.
It's a trap. I can go on. He's class, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's been in such a lot of stuff.
Class. What's your favourite Ewan McGregor film?
I mean, Train Spotting, his kind of breakout role is hard to top that,
Hard
but
to beat, isn't
I
it?
think he's fantastic as Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I love him as Obi-Wan, yeah. Moulin Rouge he was good in.
Good singer, isn't he?
The Impossible was good. He was good in that. God, he's in loads of stuff.
I know. And
I'll tell you what I didn't like. Big Fish.
A lot of people loved it.
I didn't like it.
My sister had it on repeat, but yeah, I didn't really take to it that much. Yeah. But so yeah, I think it's a solid cast, a good cast, really.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
How they're going to meld together, I'm not entirely sure. A lot of these people have not been in superhero films. Spoiler alert for Category 6. So it will be interesting to see how they merge it all together. But I'm going for a 7 in terms of score.
I think that's pretty fair. Good score.
Cool.
Should we move on to my cast?
Let's have a look.
Okay.
How long have we got?
Yeah, so the cast for Dolittle is a ridiculous ensemble cast, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I think in terms of what we do here when we're talking about like a cast score, this can only be beaten by something like an Avengers Endgame or something like that. I mean, it's incredible. I got 5 Oscar winners in this cast.
Flipping it. Do you think they'll get another one for this?
No. I doubt it. I would doubt it. Now, like I said, there's a lot of famous people in this. So as I mentioned, 5 Oscar winners, then some of the other cast, there's loads of Oscar nominees. So awards-wise, I mean, it's a buffet of awards talent, this one. But I think, my feeling is, you know, I mentioned about there being production issues and whatnot. I feel like the cast is a kind of damage limitation because you can get someone else in to voice something after the fact, can't you? And I think that's what they've done. They thought, oh, Jesus, you know, we got issues here. They pushed the release date back from May 2019 to obviously over here, February 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously, back in May, it would have competed with Endgame and the likes. So I don't think there's much confidence in this film from the studio from the off.
Right. Okay.
And like I said, with all the issues they've had, basically what happened is Stephen Gaghan, the director, not a fan of previs by all accounts, which is pre-visualization for the film. When it's an effects film, you need to really pre-visualize where these animals are going to be. You've got all this logistical stuff that you need to get right. You know, everything needs to be perfect. And apparently he was not a great guy on set. There was a crew member, somebody who worked for one of the VFX companies, I think, tweeted a kind of breakdown of the problems.
Right.
And he was saying that, he called him bat basically, so which means crazy.
Yeah.
Called him bat crazy. And he said he wouldn't liaise with the previs guys with VFX and stuff like that. He said it was all over the place. So much to the point that they brought in another VFX supervisor and then another director, another filmmaker to do extensive reshoots after the fact.
Jeez.
So it's kind of all over the place, this. It's all over the place.
It's bonkers, that's what, and we've just said it in a previous category. Why was he chosen to do this? Strange.
So I don't know, but he's still tagged onto the film and everything. It's still his film, but there's all kinds of murky waters going on beneath. But anyway, back to the cast. So yeah, so I think it's a bit of damage limitation for that. Let's get loads of famous people in, loads of names that everyone recognises, and we'll go from there. The main being obviously Robert Downey Jr., he was in it from the off, of course. Now, I like Robert Downey Jr.
So do I.
You know, I love the Avengers films. I loved him as Iron Man. I thought he was great. What he did in terms of actually, between him and Jon Favreau, sort of invigorating the MCU and basically creating it with the first Iron Man film has been proven to be incredible over the years. You know, I mean, he's an interesting guy. Early success, very early success. 1992, he was Oscar nominated for Chaplin.
Yeah.
Basically, his role in which he went so method, he learned to play the violin. He learned to play tennis left-handed. You know, people forget how good an actor he actually is. And he was kind of an enfant terrible, wasn't he, back in the day?
Yeah.
Because he had this amazing career, full of early success, and then a load of trouble, drugs, jail time, all kinds of things. And then he came out of that. And like I say, with the MCU, had this resurgence in his career.
Yeah.
And now is one of the most successful in terms of box office of all time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's an incredible story that he's got. And I mean, post Endgame, a lot of people, including the directors of the Avengers films, I've forgotten their names.
Russo brothers.
The Russo brothers, of course. Including the Russo brothers were saying Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar for his role of Iron Man, because he had that sort of finishing arc for his character. It was a huge thing in the world of cinema, wasn't it? Let's be honest. And he was really good. And a lot of people saying he should be getting an Oscar, but because obviously it's a superhero film, he's not going to get an Oscar, blah, 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 blah. But I think people forget how good Downey Jr. is for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when he finished Endgame, it almost like he had the world at his feet. He could do any film that he wanted to, really. Yeah. So it was almost a little bit strange that he went for this one. I know it's like a massive depart from the Avengers, and perhaps that's what he wanted. He wants something completely different, which is fair enough.
It's not, though, is it, really? It's a VFX extravaganza. It is different in terms of the character, but I don't think this is the direction he should have gone. I think he should have gone down the direction of, like, a lower budget indie film with a good story, like where he can really show his chops again.
Yeah.
You know, because this is another theatrical role. I mean, shall we mention the Welsh accent now?
I was going to leave that for sound and vision.
He does a Welsh accent in it. I'm not sure of it. I mean, like I said earlier, we don't really gravitate towards looking at reviews yet while we're doing this, because we just want to look at the trailers and go on the merits of the trailer. However, it's hard to avoid them when they are so bad for this film. And I've looked at a couple, and a few have concentrated on the accent. I read one review which was quite good. It said it sounds like he's Tom Jones going into his friend's house. He's got a young baby, so he has to whisper. Something along those lines. It's like he's sort of like, don't be afraid. Like a really rubbish Richard Burton, but anyway.
And I think it's one of those where he is obviously so synonymous with Iron Man, and it just seems like an amped up version of Robert Downey Jr. to me.
Yeah,
he seems to have become him and Tony Stark are the same person, really.
Yeah.
And he's just gone, right, what can I do completely different? I'll change my accent so I'm not like him, but like you say, I don't know why he went Welsh.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're slagging him off. I really like Downey Jr.
I really like him. I really do.
I'm just not sure this is where he should have gone. He should have gone away from all the VFX, I think, and gone back to the method acting type of thing, and gone to something where, oh my God, I can't believe that's Robert Downey Jr.
Agreed.
You know, done something completely different. But there you go. You know, he's a gazillionaire, so we can do what he wants. Exactly. Moving on, like I mentioned, this crazy ensemble cast. I'm not going to go into detail for all of them because there's loads. So I'll just kind of try and reel them off as much as I can. We've got Antonio Banderas as King Rasuli, who's the sort of the king of the faraway land that Dolittle goes to, and he's got a bit of a bone to pick with Dolittle about something. Then we've got Michael Sheen, who is, I can't remember his name, but he's basically the Dolittle's sort of arch rival, another doctor. Yeah. He's got a funky name, I can't remember what it is now.
Dr. Fox.
It's not Dr. Fox. No. Got Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Oscar winner, again, as Chi-Chi, the gorilla. We've got Tom Holland playing Jip, the dog. Emma Thompson is Polly, the parrot. We've got John Cena, who is Yoshi, or Yoshi, whichever one you want to use. I'll say Yoshi, is the polar bear.
Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani is Plimpton, the ostrich, a grumpy ostrich, apparently, which you could probably accuse me of being today, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Jim Broadbent is in it. Sir Lord Thomas Badgley, I think. We've got Marion Cotillard. Jim Broadbent, sorry, another Oscar winner, I think.
Yeah.
Marion Cotillard, another Oscar winner.
Yeah.
She plays Tutu the fox. Selena Gomez is in it. Betsy the giraffe.
Who plays the Barry the tiger?
I love that name. What a name for a tiger. If I ever had a tiger, if I get to Mike Tyson levels of animal ownership, call him a tiger Barry, played by Ralph Fiennes or Ralph Fiennes, whichever you want to call him. Yeah. He who should not be named himself, Voldemort. So, you know, it's an incredible cast.
It is.
A couple I want to mention is we've got young Harry Collett, who was in Dunkirk. He's a good little actor, this lad. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in his career. And the other person is Jessie Buckley. And she's really good. There's a film she's in called Wild Rose, where she plays a sort of a Scottish singer who wants to be famous. And it's a really touching, really good story. And if you haven't seen it, have a look at Wild Rose. Well worth a watch. Yeah. She's really good in it. Really, really good in it. So it's a massive cast. I think there's probably some I've forgotten.
Sure, there's loads.
I'm sure I've forgotten someone, but I'm annoyed I can't remember Michael Sheen's character's name. Let me know in the comments, because it's going to drive me mad now. But in terms of a score, I'd probably give it a 9.
I can't disagree.
It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah. It's such a wide range of characters, such a wide range of good actors. What I'm worried about, and I say this a lot, how are they going to shoehorn all these people in? Are they all going to have like 5 lines each? And it was like, well, there you go.
I'll be honest. I think there's going to be a lot of phoning it in here.
Yeah.
A lot of like, I'll take that money. My manager's just rang me, said I can have a part in Dolittle for £1 million. Yeah. What have you got to do? Be a bear
5
for
lines.
A bit. Yeah. It's a day's work.
Yeah.
Signed,
Cheers.
Sold. So I think there'll be a bit of phoning it in, but nevertheless, on the criteria that we judge on here, it's a 9.
There you go. Right, let's move on to category 4, which is cinematography. Okay, so category 4 is one of our favourites. It's cinematography. What have you got to say about this?
Where do I start? Right, anyway, so as I've already said a few times now, this film was full of issues from the get-go, right? So let's just park that for a minute. So Stephen Gaghan, the director. Now, as we said, this isn't his thing, you know, as we're aware of. But the team that, whether he assembled it or the studio assembled it, I don't know. It is their thing.
Yeah.
You know, or it was from the off. Where cinematographer on this is Guillermo Navarro, who's got a CV, I mean, as long as your arm. I mean, one of the best. Now, this guy, especially for this kind of film. So, won an Oscar in, I think it was 2006 for Pan's Labyrinth, working with the director Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
I mean, a great film, a wonderful film. If you've not seen Pan's Labyrinth, go and watch it. It's fantastic. So yeah, so Navarro, what's he done? He's done Dusk Till Dawn. He did the Hellboy films. He's done Pacific Rim, Jackie Brown. I mean, he's worked with so many directors. You know, he did Stuart Little. So he's done films like this. He did Zathura.
Night at the Museum, which is similar to this type of thing.
Very much so. Have you seen Zathura?
I've not, no.
Zathura is a brilliant kids' film.
Right.
Jon Favreau directed. It's a fantastic film. Really, really good. Like,
Right.
put it on your list if you've got kids and you want a good family film to watch. Zathura is brilliant. Really up there. Like a space Jumanji.
Yeah.
It's really good. Anyway, but yeah, so he's done that kind of film. He did the Breaking Dawn films, the Twilight films, Pacific Rim, as I've mentioned. You know, so he's ideal for this kind of thing. As I mentioned, these issues. Basically, what happened is the studio brought in two artists, John Dykstra, who's a VFX supervisor, and Jonathan Liebsman, who's a filmmaker director. And they brought Liebsman in to do additional photography, so reshoots, and then Dykstra was in there to handle the sort of VFX workflow and get everything kind of back to where it should be, because it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Now, Dykstra's very well known in the industry. He won an Oscar for the original Star Wars and for Spider-Man 2 as well, I think. You know, again, another person with a CV as long as you're around, one of the best in the game. So it's kind of, let's get him in, damage limitation, let's salvage what we can here. And it seems that they've kind of done it, maybe. According to the reviews, probably not. So I don't know. But the VFX on these films are a massive part of everything, of course. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to just mention the VFX houses who have dealt with this film is MPC, Moving Picture Company, and Frame Store, with additional VFX by Luma Pictures and Lola VFX. Go and check out their websites. If you're interested in VFX, by the way, go and check out their websites, because there's loads of information on them. And, you know, it's such a cool industry. Just go and have a look at it. So anyway, these effects. Now, talking animals, I'm just not sure anymore. And I think now, right, the effects in these films now, these are good effects, aren't they? They're not rubbish. There's some points where they're a bit ropey, but they are good effects. They've got great artists working on them. But they're made to be so immersive that I think they're starting to now have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Whereas I think people are struggling to connect with these animals. I know I do, because I know that gorilla's not there.
Yeah.
I know that, see, for example, about the Barry the Tiger shot, where he's like, hello, lunch, or whatever he says. You've got Barry the Tiger advancing on Dolittle. You know he's not there. There's no peril whatsoever.
Yeah.
None. And I know it's all about suspension of disbelief and immersing yourself in the film, but it's too hard to do it. I think the VFX now, I can't connect with these animals, because you know they're not there. You know that it's just someone standing with like a broom handle, you know, with a green ball on the end, just going, you know, or Andy Serkis dressed up, you know. But at least there's something to react to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when they do the motion capture stuff with Andy Serkis, at least he's in the scene.
Yeah.
You know, so, but with these effects, they're just not immersive. You look at something like E.T., you look at the connection you can have with E.T. I mean, it's an emotional connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a completely different kind of effects. You're going back, you know, to the practical VFX and puppet work and all that kind of thing, which for me seems to work better.
I know, I agree. And it's like, I don't know why we kind of moved away from that. I assume it's because we can do what we want in post-production.
For sure, yeah.
But it seems like it's so expensive and so time-consuming on it. Surely putting a lot of money into making really good puppets would be a better way to go, because it looks realer.
I know, and you get the photorealism with the CGI animals and all that kind of thing, but I think it's sort of plateaued for me. It's plateaued, and I think there's got to be something where you bring the emotion back into it and bring the performance back into it. Because as incredible as these CG artists are, I don't think that anything can replace that one-to-one interaction on set, in scene.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and Babe is another one, even though that was kind of all animals, at least you knew they were real animals.
Yeah.
Just adjusted.
Yeah.
You know, these are completely photoreal CGI objects, and I think people are losing the connection with it.
Yeah, and they are photoreal, but I do think that when they put these types of films together, they make the grade a bit more animation-like to make sure that these animals do look like they're in that world. If it was like within a gritty drama, there's no way you could pull it off because it just wouldn't look in place.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the ones the films I have liked have been the new Planet of the Apes films. I've always thought their CG does it quite well. Yeah. But again, though, you still have that same thing, don't you? Yeah. But circus is on set.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think that makes a big difference. Anyway, the VFX part of it aside, I think the lighting is good. I think there's a few shots where you've got some excellent lighting, but they're fundamentals now, aren't they?
Exactly.
So they all films, like we always say, they all look good now. The lighting's good. The costume is very good. I've got to give a bit of applause to the costume department. The film does look, in terms of the technicals of how it should look, it looks fantastic. Yeah. I mean, you've got some decent looking set pieces from what I can gather. There seems to be a battle on the ships and all that kind of thing. But we've seen all these shots before. What's the difference? You got the whale jumping out the water. Seen it in Moby Dick. Yeah. You've got the ship, cruising through the water. Seen it in Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Yeah. Seen it all before, Pirates of the Caribbean. Seen them all before, all these shots, And I'm just getting a bit bored of it. Yeah. And I think that's the problem with this film, is it's a bit, it's just too derivative, and it's a bit, Me Too. And I don't mean the Me Too movement now. I mean, it's just like everything else. Yeah. It's just a bit Me Too for me. I mean, like we said about Barry advancing on Dolittle. Seen it in the Jungle Book. Yeah. Seen it, mate. Yeah. Been there, done that. Box ticked. Move on. I'm just a bit. I saw a couple of the shots of ropey as well.
Really bad, I think, some of them.
Did you see the shot where the boys jumps on the ship?
Yeah.
Remember when we were talking about the new Terminator film?
Yeah.
Dark Fate, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got the T-8 million or whatever he's called jumping from the truck, and you can see that it's a completely CGI rendered character. Yeah. You can see it with the boy jumping across the mast on the ship. It looks rubbish.
The one that got me was when I think Dolittle goes into the palace on the ostrich. When he gets in the lobby and it twirls around, that is shocking. Yeah. It's one of the worst CGs I've seen in a modern film. It's too obvious, isn't it?
And that's what I say, you can't, they're trying to be so immersive that you lose the immersion for me. I'm just out of the film straight away. Yeah. Because I know a bit about what goes into making these things, and it's a bit, I'm out. Yeah. It's not even, the curtains are pulled back for me. Yeah. You can see everything that's happening, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, And it's a shame, because it's probably to do with time, because these poor CG artists, they're incredible.
Yeah, they are.
These companies, NPC, Framestore, they're the best. They're the top, the cream of the crop. So that it's a limitation thing, where they've been pushed for time and they're having to rush work in. Yeah. And it's stupid, and the industry needs to stop doing it. Yeah. It's really stupid. Like, let these incredibly talented people do what they're supposed to do in the right time that they need to do it. And then you'll have perfection. Yeah. And you really will. So, I'm annoyed with the cinematography in this one again. It just looks all right. Yeah. But it's completely unoriginal.
Yeah. And there was a couple of bits that I picked up, and they're only small things really, but there was, in terms of like the colour grade and the overall, there's a bit where he's talking about, we have no choice but to go on this epic adventure or whatever. Yeah. And like the ship is moving away. That just looks like animation to me. Yeah. I assume all of it was CGI, but it looks like an animated film. And then there's one bit where I just don't think the blocking was really good in terms of the set design, probably, when he's leaving the house. Yeah. Now, a little bit of background. He's a hermit. Yeah, I think in the novels his wife died.
He loses his wife.
And he just stays inside. So he doesn't want to leave this place. And there should be a lot of emotion on Downey Jr.'s face. And I think there is. But kind of the stairwell cuts off half of his face. You can't even see it. So it's like that's kind of lost.
Yeah, agree. I think, to be honest, we'll cap it there. Because I think all I can really say about it is that with the amount of issues that they've seemingly had, the best they could hope for was a film that's sort of a cohesive piece that does all just fit together somehow. Yeah. Even if it doesn't fit together well, at least it fits together. But I'm not sure if they even got that.
No, I'm not.
Especially from some of the reviews I've seen. So in terms of a score, I'm going to give it a 6.
Right. Okay. High in my opinion, but there you go.
Yeah, but I'm giving it a 6 because It's not detrimental to the quality of the artists that work at NPC, Framestore, etc. They're the best.
100%.
They're the best.
100%.
So it's just, there's obviously some sort of logistical or administration issues or whatever's gone on with Stephen Gagan and the rest of the crew. I don't know, but it was 6.
So yeah, the cinematography for Birds of Prey. And I do quite like the way that they've put this together. It seems a little bit like an old school comic book film, very much like the Tim Burton Batmans from back in the day. And it's
Batman Forever?
Batman Forever, yeah. It's very similar to that, all.
Very much so.
Not as goofy.
No, thankfully.
But I think what they're trying to do is take a little bit of the success that the Marvel universe is using. So it's obviously a lot more colourful than we're used to from a DC film.
Yeah.
They very much favoured the gritty Batman from like the Dark Knight type stuff, and Joker, which has just been come out, and also the Batman, which is coming out in a couple of years' time.
And they have that sort of, they're like an age certificate above, aren't they? They're a bit edgier, I would say. They're a bit closer to the bone than the Marvel films would be.
That's it. So. But I think the problem is they've kind of seen the Marvel way of doing things and they've gone, I want a bit of that, I want this $1 billion film. And Joker obviously did that, so it shows that it can work.
Yeah.
But there's almost like two strands to it at the moment. It's like this type of film, and the Suicide Squad was very much in the same aesthetic as this and didn't do very well. Now I think that was down to the plot and some of the characters in that.
Had a solid cast, didn't it? But
it did, yeah. It's just a bit of a mess. Now, in some respects, they've used a lot of old DC items like Acme Chemicals, which has got a big backstory for the Joker. Yeah. If you now
it's not run by Roadrunner.
No.
Wiley Coyote.
No.
You sure?
Positive, yeah. Now it depends on what kind of backstory you believe for the Joker. Now this was one where he fell into a vat of acid, and that's why he's the way he is. Bit of a way to go in it. And then the Suicide Squad, that's the same way that Harley Quinn was. Yeah. She got electrified. Yeah. And then was dropped into a vat of acid, and that's why she's quite white in the skin and all that. But they've used like the carnival, which was used a lot in the old Joker style storylines, which I like. Now the cinematographer on this is a chap called Matthew Libatique, and he's known as having quite a lot of films with Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, I love Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, and I think
he's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like Mother, Requiem for a Dream, Black Swan, which Libatique got an Oscar for, an Oscar nomination, sorry, and then just recently for A Star Is Born, he got a nomination
film
for that. Really good.
Enjoyed that. Lady Gaga was really good in that.
Yeah, and I've seen a little bit of a documentary about how he goes, kind of approaches his cinematography, and he says he takes a lot of his direction from the director. It's not like he just wants to put his stamp on stuff. He'll have a lot of work with the director up front, and then also take into consideration how experienced the cast is. And he said obviously Lady Gaga, it was her first film, and so he put her at ease. He was like used a lot of block in that and was very complimentary to her. And
see, I think that's what the sign of a good cinematographer. That, I mean, one of my favourites is Roger Deakins, and he says, people say to him, what's good and bad cinematography? And he says, well, I don't really know if there is such a thing as good and bad cinematography. I think there's only the cinematography that's right for the film. Yeah. And I think that's the right attitude to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
One of his trademarks is in almost every scene, the camera's always moving. He uses a lot of that kind of high energy filmmaking, a lot of handhelds. Even when it's on a steady cam, it'd be moving. And I think it's really good for this type of film. It has to be fast-paced, a lot of action, and I think he lends himself well to that type of thing.
But it doesn't seem like it's going to be jarring cinematography, does it? It's not handheld in that kind of close-in, Saving Private Ryan on the beach style, is it? Which was great cinematography, changed the game, of course, but for this kind of film, it wouldn't work. Yeah. So it's he's a sort of the thinking man's cinematographer.
And he kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but the films he's been involved in are really, really good.
Fantastic.
Another one of his trademarks, something that he tries to weave into it, is kind of framing the subject using their psychological situation. So, like, the two things I'm kind of thinking of is the scene where obviously Harley Quinn has broken up with the Joker and she's like at rock bottom, and he's just like showcasing her with the squeezy cheese or whatever, trying to understand what she's coming from, and then kind of that epiphany moment where I think he's in an evidence room where those guys are like shooting at her, and she's like behind the pile of coke or whatever, and she's like bang, got an epiphany.
Yeah.
I'm Harley Quinn. I'm going to go and get these guys.
Yeah, because shot selection's so important there, isn't it? Like the joke for the one where she's squirting stuff it's being in close.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's that kind. If it was a wide shot, it just wouldn't have the same comedy effect, would it? So yeah, I think he's great.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, and I like the look of this film. I love the grade.
Yeah.
I think the colours are fantastic. So while I might not be on board with the Suicide Squad and the whole Harley Quinn thing itself,
Yeah.
in terms of the technical aspects of this film, I think it looks really, really good.
Yeah. So in terms of score, I'm going for a 7. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's something I'd see at the cinema. Definitely, like I say, even though I'm not into the thing, but I think that the image quality and the composition and, like I say, the colours, the vibrancy of it does need to be on the big screen, doesn't it? So I'd agree with a 7. Solid score.
Thank you very much.
Right, let's move on to the next category, which is the sound and the music. Okay, so this category is the sound and the music, and this is where we take a quick look at everything that goes into your ears to do with the film.
That's it?
Yeah, what you got?
Not much.
Really? Okay.
So, I mean, in terms of a score,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be anything in the trailer that is going to be in the film, probably, when they're using Bjork's Oh So Quiet.
Bjork?
Yeah.
Bjork.
Which
Good song.
It is a good song. I'm not entirely sure why it's on there. It's just a happy song.
Yeah, and a brilliant video
Yeah, really
when
good.
it came out. I think, was it Spike Jones?
It was.
Yeah.
And it won 6 MTV awards when that was a thing.
Wow.
So we're not hearing any kind of score from the film, any kind of incidental music, which annoys us in trailers. But so they just, like I say, going with the Bjork song. So yeah, nice.
It's a good. I love the song. I do like Bjork.
It is good.
She's mad as a box of frogs.
Yeah. The kind of the composer on this is a chap called Dan Pemberton.
Yeah.
He cut his teeth on Peep Show. I know you like Peep Show.
I love Peep Show. Yeah.
He also got a couple of Golden Globe noms.
I did. Sorry.
Go on.
I have to say, I did call Olivia Colman as the future like amazing actress when she was in Peep Show. And then I saw her in Tyrannosaur, and I was like, she's going to win an Oscar, and then she won one. You know, I have to get it in
Every time
I gotta
you got to weave it in.
I gotta get it in. Because then, when I'm wrong about Robert Pattinson being the best ever Batman, I won't be. You know, at least I'll have some previous to be like, well, you know, maybe I got it wrong this time. But anyway, go on.
So yeah, Golden Globes for Motherless Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs and Gold, which is Matthew McConaughey. And funnily enough, talking about your tiger, Barry, in Gold, they used an actual tiger.
Well, Gold is Stephen Gaghan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But McConaughey, I don't know if he was a producer or not on that. I think he may have been. He said that that was the last shot of the film, and he was thinking back to himself, because if I was getting eaten, at least they had the film.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, he's got a nice little caliber, a nice little back catalogue. So yeah, I mean, I ain't got too much to say on this one. I'm not going to labour the point really.
Go on, score.
5, middle of the road.
Fair.
There you go.
Fair. Mine's not much different, to be honest. The music we can hear going through it is a cover of Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World" by Reuben and the Dark, a band that I quite like.
Yeah,
they're pretty good. I think it's a band. Yeah. But anyway, I've been listening to a couple of their albums lately, and they're decent. So have a listen to them here. If you've not heard much of this stuff, Reuben and the Dark. I think the cover's good.
Yeah,
it fits quite nice. It seems quite dark for this kind of film, doesn't it? But
it does.
You know, who knows? I mean, it's sort of a non-event, the sound for this film. Really, it's just a nice track going through. There's no score to speak of, like you said about yours. The composer is Danny Elfman, the legendary Danny Elfman. Batman Returns, Good Will Hunting. You know, he's done tons of stuff.
Yeah,
tons. He did Mars Attacks. For example, that's another good one. Chicago.
Big Fish.
Big Fish.
Men in Black, I think he did.
Men in Black. He did Men in Black 1?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. He's Oscar nominated a few times as well.
Yeah.
So you know, he did 50 Shades of Grey. I think I've never seen 50 Shades of Grey, so I don't know if the music's like sexy funk or something. Bomb chicka wow. But I don't know. I've never seen it. Read a bit of the books. One of the books once. It was rubbish. And I was like, I've got to see what the fuss is about. Read a bit. Shut it. Rubbish. But anyway, so yeah. So there's not really any score in it, The song is good.
Yeah.
It's a classic song, Louis Armstrong's. I think they'd have been better off just using the original.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, well, who knows? I like what they've done with it anyway. In terms of like actual sort of sound design, it's gonna be good. It's primarily a voice acting cast, so it's going to have great dialogue. You know, everything's going to be pretty much inch perfect because you're not dealing with a huge amount of on-set audio, are you? Really, you know, everything's done after the fact or before the fact in some cases. So I don't know. Should we get back to the Welsh thing?
Minus points for that, mate.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think I'm going to knock my score down actually.
Yeah,
based off of that. You know, it's not an accent that, I mean, we don't have a thick Welsh twang, me and Gaz, because we both lived in cities. I used to live in a city. Gaz kind of still does, don't you?
Yeah.
And you know, so we sort of lost a little bit of ours somewhere, haven't we? But in terms of a Welsh twang, it's not seen often, is it?
No.
You know?
And it's people think it's easy to do, but I don't think it is.
I mean, Joanna Page is in the cast for this, so I wonder if she was like, RDJ is series 1 to 3 of Gavin and Stacey. Watch that, and then just be like, oh, Barry, what's occurring? Hello, lunch. No, but it probably would have been, you know, people would have been all right with
Perhaps
that.
that's where he got his name from, Barry Island.
Hello. So in terms of a score, it was going to be a 6, but I'm going to knock it down to a 5 because of the Welsh thing. Okay, because good. You know, we're Welshmen. We're proud Welshmen, staunch, proud Welshmen, and if you're gonna do a Welsh accent, you've got to nail it, haven't you? Yeah. So, you think of anyone who's ever nailed the Welsh accent in a film?
It's tough, isn't it? If you don't come from round here,
it's a hard one to do.
Yeah, but I will say, I'm glad it's getting on screen because you don't hear it that much, do you?
Nope. No, you don't.
So in that respect, I do like it. Oh,
should I bunch it?
Maybe.
I'm bumping it back up.
Do it.
Back to a 6. RDJ. An honorary Welshman now. We've changed our mind. Quick U-turn.
Yeah.
So I'll put it as a 6 then.
Bendigedig.
Moving on to the next category and the final category.
That's it.
Which is
superhero-ness. So the final category is superhero-ness, and this is where we try and find as many tenuous links to comic book characters.
You bloody love this one, don't you?
I do. It's cheeky.
Shall I kick it off?
Go for it. I'll add them up.
I got Spider-Man.
Bing, bing.
2.
Yeah.
I got Iron Man. 2.
Another 2. So 2, you get, if it's a prominent character, you get bonus points.
I got Kumail Nanjiani, who's going to be in Marvel's Eternals.
Yeah.
As Kingo.
Man, he's worked out, hasn't he?
Got John Cena, another man who's worked out, who's currently filming the next Suicide Squad. He's going to be Peacemaker.
Yeah.
How many is that?
6 so far.
Oh, flying. I've got Ralph Fiennes, who was the voice of Alfred in Lego Batman.
Yeah, I like it.
Also in Lego Batman as the voice of Scarecrow was Jason Mantzoukas.
8.
Flying, am I?
Yeah, yeah.
I got Marion Cotillard, who was in The Dark Knight Rises as Miranda.
Talia al Ghul.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ra's
al
al
Ghul's
Ghul.
daughter.
Yeah, of course. I've got Ralph Ineson, British actor, really good British actor in everything over here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who was a pilot, like a ravaging pilot or something in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's all I got. So and I know you're going to have some for me anyways.
So that's 10. And normally we cap it at 10. Yeah. But for this one, you can just carry on going and going and going.
For this category, means?
Yeah, for this one. Yeah. So Jim Broadbent.
The great Jim Broadbent.
And he was someone like Jean-Pierre Bordeaux in Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
Wow.
So that's that. Octavia Spencer, I don't think we've even said her name in this film, but she played the checking girl in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh, Dab Dab. She's Dab Dab the goose or duck or whatever in this. And she's amazing, Octavia. But she was one of the Oscar winners.
Yeah.
And it's such a big cast, it's hard to mention everyone.
Yeah. And that's 12. And also the composer, the great Danny Elfman, who did
Spider-Man
1, 2, and 3, again, Sam Raimi's, but also did Batman.
Batman Returns, yeah.
So what's that? Crossover.
Of course.
DC, Marvel, bonus point for crossover. You got 15 points, my friend.
You might do yourself out a victory if this category comes up.
15.
15 points.
Now,
go on, what you got?
You think that it's a comic book film? Surely I'm going to get lots of points. Unfortunately, not. So because it's a comic book film, you get 3 as a baseline rather than going through all of the characters. You get 3 as a baseline.
Yeah.
I am adding Harley Quinn into that just because of her prominence in terms of the character.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's only 4. And then the 5th one is Dan Pemberton, who did Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
One of my favourite Spider-Man. But that's it. I've got 5. That's it.
That's rubbish.
I know.
You better hope this category doesn't come up. Because he loves this category as well. I usually sort of like research a bit of mine, and I just think he loves looking at it anyway, so he can look at the rest. You know,
it always do me out of points because I'm like, oh yeah, he was in this for 1 minute.
Your own worst enemy, man. Your own worst
15
enemy.
versus 5.
Okay, so it's time for the final reckoning. Okay, so the categories have been critiqued, the scores have been decided. It's now time to see who will take their place on the Trailer Top Trumps table of triumph. Gazadi, do you have the vessel?
I certainly have the vessel.
Let's draw the first category.
No peeking, sir. Good luck.
Thank you. The first category is category 3.
Oh my gosh. It was a 9 for Chris and a 7 for moi. That's French for me.
Put that the wrong way around. Right, next category.
Lead.
2-point lead for Davis. Which Davis? You make your mind up. It's category 2.
Oh my gosh. So I actually go in the lead by 1 point. You had 3. I had 6. A real barn burner.
Here we go. Can I pull out category 6 and take the win? The last category is... It's category 4.
4. Oh my gosh. You had 6. I had 7. So a squidge of a win for Gazadi.
Starts the year off with a victory. I don't know where that puts us in the league, but...
Do the confetti cannon.
Was it what you hoped for?
No? Do that CGI at the end.
So there we have it.
There you go.
I think a fair result. I think I'd rather see Birds of Prey in the cinema than Dolittle, I'll be honest.
That's my preference.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So there you have it. Birds of Prey is the winner for this week's Trailer Top Trumps. Now, like we said before, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do it now. Click on that subscribe button, click on the notification bell icon, and you'll get told every single time we update a new bit of content. Are you on social media, Gar?
I am on social media.
Do you follow The Davis Locker on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter?
Yes, I certainly do.
It's simply at The Davis Locker. And do you know what, Gar? Do you like to listen to audio content while you're out and about?
I do. On Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts and Spotify. Why?
Because that's what we're on.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, apparently. You know, that's where we're on now.
Sweet.
What, for some reason, they've deemed us worthy. But yeah, so please keep showing us the support. We absolutely love it. We love doing this. We hope you've liked this week's Trailer Top Trumps. As we said, the winner is Birds of Prey. Are you going to go and see it?
I will. Many times, Margot.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Fair result?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was fair, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we'll see. I don't think Doolittle's going to do too well.
Oh, I'm not convinced.
But it does remind me of the time Dr. Dolittle tried to break up a fight between 2 angry dolphins.
Right.
But he soon realised he was talking at cross purposes. That's one of the better ones I've had.
Good God.